Africa to see the giraffes? Yes. Some saw the giraffes, some didn't? Okay. So when we come out to schools, what we do, we bring a whole different set of animals that you would find, other than what you would find on exhibit at the zoo. And stop me if someone needs to interpret for me, okay? So you won't see any of the animals today that we actually keep on exhibit out at the zoo. We only bring animals that are smaller, but also animals that are here for instruction purposes. So my understanding is that you guys have been studying animal families, correct?
And families in general. Yeah. In science.
Okay. So what we're going to do today, and what we would like to do, is classification. And classification is another word for groupings of families. Okay? All right. So we're going to start today with a group of animals that have scales. So this group of animals with scales are called reptiles.
No, it's not a dinosaur.
No.
He kind of looks like one, though.
He does look like one.
You can turtle.
He's very,
Whatever.
he's very heavy.
Oh.
Very happy.
He's very heavy. Okay, this is a tortoise. So there's a difference between turtle and tortoise. A tortoise, and this is a tortoise will have club feet and nails. Put him down. Yeah, come on. Come on, Walter. All right. So a tortoise has clubbed feet and nails, where turtles have webbing, have more like, where they have more of a webbing between their toes. Tortoises are land animals, turtles are water. Walter, this is Walter, and Walter is special because Walter has wheels on the bottom.
Oh.
And the wheels were put on by our vet when we got Walter. When we got Walter, he had a broken tail. And the only way to keep him off of his tail was to put wheels on the bottom of him. And he's really heavy, So we just kept the wheels on him, and that keeps him from re-breaking his tail.
Did that hurt when they put them on?
They're glued on.
Oh.
So yeah, they're glued on. Are you just wanting to see everyone?
How much does he weigh?
He weighs probably 60 pounds, 50, 60 pounds. That's why I keep setting him down. I'm not, I don't hold him
Oh my
a
goodness.
whole lot. A question, yes. Pardon?
She said they glued them. You know what glue is? Yeah.
Yeah, the wheels are glued on with a glue, and sometimes the wheels come off, so we glue them back on. And we don't want him to break his tail again, and he's pretty heavy and pretty big. So this is a tortoise, and a tortoise every tortoise has exactly 13 scales. And the scales are these markings right here, and there's 13 of them on a tortoise, and every tortoise has 13 scales. Okay, you want to open that back up?
Bye, Walter.
All right.
Somebody had a question. You had a question?
Yes.
You said how much do they cost?
I don't know the answer to that. The animals that we get at the zoo, we don't really pay for at the zoo. Usually we are part of what's called the American Association of Zoos, and we trade animals between zoos. So we've had Walter here for quite a while, but we will trade animals in and out where we don't actually pay for the animals. We just to keep a species survival plan going so that our animals don't become extinct. We just trade animals in and out with other zoos.
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, but in light of that, you just built that whole penguin thing.
Yes.
Now, will you at some point trade them away and then you'll have no purpose for the penguin thing?
Oh, no.
Or you
no.
exchange?
We exchange, so we trade with other zoos. So,
So if you send one out, you'll get one in.
or we'll get something else in.
That will
So-
live in that penguin.
Well, we won't trade them all out at once. All of the penguins that we have came from various zoos from everywhere. So we've got some from California, we've got some from Omaha. So all of the penguins that we have there came from other zoos. And then we actually have a new baby born about a month ago. So a little baby penguin, it's one of our Humboldts. And that one will stay with us, and we're on what's called a species survival plan, which means so that we are not crossbreeding animals and that we're keeping breeding lines healthy. Then we are approved for certain animals to breed, and then we are not allowed to have certain animals to breed because of the unhealthy breeding line. So like two of our three cheetahs went to St. Louis, and that then that was for breeding purposes that they went to St. Louis, and then we got two cheetahs in from someplace else. So it's to keep
You
those
always have a supply.
correct,
Sort of.
correct. So and all right, do you have a question?
Yeah, when you put the animal in the bucket, how can they breathe?
How can it breathe?
Question.
We actually have holes. There's a spot right down here for it to breathe, and there's different holes around the bottom. They don't need that much oxygen to breathe, and they're only in there for transporting, so we don't have any of our animals out longer than 3 hours. So where they're coming in and out of their carriers. And then he also likes it, he's from the desert, so he likes it where it's warm. So he has a hot water bottle in there as well that he's laying on and staying nice and warm. So he likes it in there.
And what do you do in Kansas City when it's cold?
These guys live inside. These are our education animals. So right now, since it's warmed up, they have a spot outside we have a special building that just these animals stay in. And so they are outside now that it's warmer, but come wintertime, they will be moved back in. So they just recently were moved outside. And the same with our very large tortoises that are in Africa. They will winter inside. So they will be pulled off exhibit in the winter. All right. Yes.
How many years can a turtle live?
Say it again.
How many years can a turtle live?
How many years?
How many years can the turtle live?
These guys can live up to probably around 30 to 40 years. So they will live for a while, but those are not the oldest. We have tortoises in Africa that can live up to 200, 250 years. So this one, these are smaller tortoises. So and this one will not get to be the gigantic that we have out in Africa. This guy probably won't get any bigger than he is now, and he'll live somewhere around 30 to 40 years. All right, any other questions?
How many years
Walter is,
Oh, here, she's telling.
Walter is, I think, right now about 25, 28, somewhere. He's getting up there. He's getting up there. We're doing. All right. Okay. Okay. Do you want to go ahead and get started and see what our next one is?
Yeah. Okay. So our next one is also a reptile. Not quite in the same family as this guy here. It looks a little bit different. Our next animal has no legs. Yeah. I was going to ask that. Yeah, good guess. So this is Leia. This is Leah. Yeah, she's gorgeous, isn't she? Yeah, she's very cuddly. She likes to stay nice and warm, and because her bodies are warm, so she's all kind of cuddled up. She's kind of in a little pretzel shape right now. She's not very scary. She's actually very beautiful. If the light catches her scales just right, you can see why they get their name for the rainbow. It's kind of like looking on the back of a CD. I don't know. I don't know if these lights will do her justice. All right. Let's see. Anybody see like the rainbow in her scales? Somebody
see
saw
it
it.
down
Somebody
there?
said, yeah. See her? Oh, yeah. Gorgeous. She's one of the most beautiful Right. She's from the Amazon rainforest, which is in South America. I don't know if you guys have heard of that's how she moves along, obviously. They're all going the same direction. They're all going towards the tip of her tail. And then the last kind is on her eyes. Yeah, because they don't blink. That's true.
They have bones.
They do have bones.
They have bones just like we do, so they have a backbone, and then they have ribs. They just have hundreds of ribs.
Yeah, question.
Hold on just a minute.
Here's a question.
Okay, we're trying to let them finish interpreting over here.
Yeah, and then we were ready.
All right.
This snake have teeth?
She does have teeth. She has fangs. She doesn't have as many as we do. I think she has about, is it 4? Yeah, 4 just at the front. And they're all pointing back and towards her throat. That's because she can't bite like we do, and she just pulls her food in. They don't chew like we do. Yeah.
The snake don't bite.
Any animal that has a mouth, just like us, can bite. So obviously we can bite. We know better than that. So she can bite, but she's not going to because she's handled a lot. So she knows people.
She's actually one of our babies. She was born, we actually had 2 snakes in a tank, and we thought they were both boys until we woke up one morning and had 6 little babies in the tank with the 2 and realized that one was a girl. So we quickly separated the 2 adult snakes, and then we have the remainder. So these are, she is a baby. So she has been hand-raised since she was born and has been handled. So she doesn't bite. She is perfectly content hanging out up here with me. She's cold-blooded, so she snuggles well because she's using me to stay warm. So.
I saw another question somewhere, I think.
Okay, if she hadn't been raised in captivity, would she be dangerous?
She is not venomous, so she is non-venomous. We at the zoo, we don't have any venomous snakes at all. Even on exhibit, we don't keep any venomous snakes. So she is a constrictor, which means that she strangles her prey. So. We can't touch today. There's only one of her and a whole bunch of you guys. Sorry. Not
She
today.
said not today. No, not today.
It would stress her out, probably.
She is a tree snake, which means what she's doing right now is holding on to me. I'm really not holding on to her. She's treating me like I would be a tree branch, and is perfectly fine hanging out here. She eats mice, and they eat them whole. They don't bite off pieces and chew. They eat their food whole. We do not think it's appropriate at the zoo to allow animals to go around our neck, our snakes. You'll see that on TV where you see snakes hanging around people's neck. We find that inappropriate. They are constrictors, and not that they would intentionally hurt us because we have hand-raised them, but accidentally they could. And so we find that as not a safe procedure at the zoo. So we don't allow them to come up around our neck, even though she's wanting to cuddle. We don't allow that. We allow them to roam a little bit, but we don't allow them up there. So this is part of the reptile family. This has scales, just like the tortoise has scales. They are just different types of scales. But they are this one is cold-blooded, and it stays, so it needs to stay up next to me to stay warm. And so is the tortoise. That's why it's laying on the water bottle in its cooler to stay warm as well. Any questions on the reptile family? Anything? All right.
Will they know what a water bottle is, or should I show them?
Oh,
a
you
water
may
bottle?
probably, I don't think most of them do.
Okay. Oh, you get back in there, goofy.
It's like they're like hanging out.
Yeah. Oh, she loves hanging out on her arms. She is perfectly fine right there.
Amazing.
All right. We are doing this one. Okay, so we've talked about the animals with scales being reptiles. Does anyone know the animal classification or the family group of animals with hair or fur? Anybody know?
Memo?
Good job. Yes. So we're going to move on to our mammal family. Okay, so mammals have hair or fur.
Rabbits.
She's visiting already. I've got my name tag on. Good. Yes, this is licorice. Hey, that's it. Chew on my shirt. All right. This is it's called a Rex rabbit, and it is actually a domestic animal. It is a mammal. Hi. It likes to chew on our shirts, and I'm perfectly fine with it chewing on my shirt today. So it is a Rex rabbit, and we call these domestic animals.
It could be a pet.
It could be.
Could you elaborate on domestic?
I will as soon as they get done.
What is the name?
This is licorice. So,
Is that its name?
yes. Its name is licorice.
Did the snake have a name?
Did what?
The snake have a name?
The snake's name was Leah. So this is Walter, the snake was Leah, and this is licorice. Okay, so domestic. The word domestic means that it is an animal that relies on us to take care of it. If this rabbit, it's very different than what is out in the wild, and it cannot survive. If it were to get away, it could not survive without us. It's shedding.
Highly.
So it's different than the animals out in the wild. If she were to get out, she would have absolutely no idea how to take care of herself. She relies 100% on humans to take care of her. So she is a domestic animal raised in captivity and could not survive in the wild. She has very large ears, like other rabbits, and very large eyes. And those are, she is a prey animal. And so she is one that she doesn't hunt for food because she eats vegetables and leaves and that kind of thing. So she doesn't have to hunt for her food, but she is hunted as food. So she has large ears and large eyes. She has wonderful eyesight and wonderful hearing. so she can hear those prey animals before they attack her. All right, rabbits have very strong back feet for jumping, hopping, and running. Her front feet are more just for guidance, and her back feet will push her off, and her front feet are more for guidance. They have very little strength in the front feet. Back feet do most of the work.
Hi, Licorice.
You're fine. You're fine.
All right. Does anyone have any questions about the domestic rabbit? Any questions? Yes. Just about anything. So it could be like a coyote. It could be any of the larger cat animals. So anything that would run fast. So that's right. She is an animal that likes to hide. So and a good way to remember the difference between prey animals and hunting animals. Prey animals, their eyes are on the side, so eyes on side like to hide, eyes in front like to hunt. So since her eyes are on the side, then she likes to hide because she is a prey animal, where the hunting animals have their eyes up front. So that's a good way to remember that. This one away. Okay. That's it. I'm covered. Okay, we did the animals in the order that we did them, where we did the snake before we did a mammal, and does anyone know why we would do that? Yes?
Sure.
What?
Sure.
Sure. Why would I do a snake before doing a mammal? Yes. Oh, I thought you raised your hand. No. Anybody know?
They would smell their scent.
They could smell. Yeah,
scent.
I could get bitten easily. Okay, I did the snake before I did the mammal because the snakes eat mice. Mice are mammals and they could smell. The snake would be able to smell the rabbit on me and confuse me for possible food, and then I would get bit. So when there's a reason why we did the snake and the tortoise, but more so the snake before the rabbit, because then the snake might confuse me for lunch. All right.
Turn him this way.
Are you ready? Up, step up.
Alright. So does anybody know possibly what family animal is from? This is a bird. Obviously, so we went through reptiles, and then mammals, and now we're on to birds.
That's okay. This is a blue-fronted Amazon parrot. The parrot's name is Arthur, and Arthur happens to be a girl. What happened is Arthur is one of those animals that somebody had as a pet and then realized that they couldn't take care of their pet. So we received her at the zoo, and when we received her, she came with the name Arthur, and we didn't have her too long. Yep. We didn't have her too awful long before she laid an egg and realized that he was a she. And so once they know their name, there's no changing it, so we do have so we do have a female parrot named Arthur. Yes? That's an interesting question. Parrots can't actually talk, but they can mimic. So talking meaning that she could have a conversation or she could come up with her own words. She cannot do that, but she can mimic, and she has a few things. Hi, Art. That's it. Other time. Can you say hi, Art? Sometimes she beeps like the backing up of a trash truck. So when the trash truck comes in to take our trash, it's just outside where her enclosure is, and she hears that a lot. It takes about 500 times one thing is said before the parrots will mimic it back. So she hears her name all the time. Anytime we come into our facility, she will hear her name. We say good morning. We have another parrot named Buddy, and we say hello to Buddy, so he will do pretty much the same thing. Hi, Art. We use what is called positive reinforcement, so when I ask her to say her name, she knows she'll get a seed. Sometimes she's kind of a little pig at times, and she will say her own name, hoping, see, just like that. I didn't ask her to say her name. And she thinks that I'll give her a seat for that, but I didn't ask her to do it, so I won't give her one. She has, the colorings on her are specific for camouflage in the rainforest. So the blue would represent the sky, the yellow being the sunshine around her, and then you go down into the different colors of green for the leaves in the trees. She also has red and purple. She's showing her, would you open your wings? Open your wings? Nope. So, she's not going to do it. So she, the colors help her hide or camouflage in the rainforest. So she had, you want to jump in anytime you want to. So, you're good? Okay. Okay, so she has 4 toes. She has 2 in the front and 2 in the back, and those are called zygodactyl claws. And that is so she can hang upside down. She can also reach really far. So I'm going to show you how far she can reach. Good girl. Good girl. So she can reach with the toes where she has 2 on the front and 2 on the back. She can reach pretty far.
question.
Kada waxay qaadanaysaa 500 jeer inay xarafka maqasho sifa ay kaaga dabsalaan hadda baba la soo qalna ay aad sama farxada waxaan sameynaa basrif investment amal qofka wax sameeyo sameeyo abaal barnaa si loo waxay waxaan magacaaga oo ay birban si marka marba waxay sameeysaa aniga oo aan haysa magaceeda ayadoo qabta inaan dirsi laakiin hadda markaas ma siiyo aniga
Yes.
Why do you use that stick to hold it?
Because her claws are really, really strong, so they could dig into our skin, so we don't hold any of our larger parrots. And also her beak, she uses her beak to help her climb. And their beaks are so strong that they could break our fingers. So if she were to grab onto my finger trying to get onto my arm, she could very easily break my finger. So we're real careful when we go anywhere close to her beak. So if you see, when I hold the seed, I hold it very careful and make her reach to it so that she's not just reaching out and so she doesn't have an opportunity to get my finger. So we always use the stick, and that's part of her training where we say, step up, and she steps up onto the stick, and then when we put her away, she steps back up again. It's just because she could hurt. She could hurt with the toenails, but she could also hurt with the beak as well. Hi, Art. Yes.
He speaks English.
Does he speak English? That's all he speaks. Yeah, that's all he hears. It's called our animal facility, our education animal facility, and it's just a big building that houses all of the different kinds of animals that we bring out, and they really only hear English in there. So, parrots can live up to like 80 years old. Art here is right around 30, 35. And that's why he came to us. He had an elderly couple that had him as a pet, and they could no longer take care of him, and they will outlive most of their owners. And also, parrots find out who they like, and then they will really only respond to that one person or two people. So if you were to have chosen a parrot as a pet, and you take it home, and that parrot may find that it's one of your siblings or your parents that the parrot likes better than you and will respond better to that person. Did you have a question? Did I just answer it? even though they can live to be up to 80 years old, they will never get past the 2-year-old stage, so they throw fits if they don't want to do anything. And the way Art was acting a while ago, I'm not sure that he's going to go back in his carrier in a few minutes. So they throw fits and don't want to do what we ask them to do. You can see they make messes on the floor. He will crack the sunflower seed, and he has a sticky tongue, or she has a sticky tongue, and that sticky tongue will take the seed out, and then she drops the shells on the floor, and she poops wherever she wants to poop. Hi, Art. All right, are there any questions about any of our animals today? Any of- Yes. How old is who? The snake? The snake is about a year old. So right about a year old. She was born accidentally about a year ago. Yes. How old is this one? Yeah. She's about 25, or she's about 30, 35 years old. 25? So. Yes. The tortoise is, what did I say, 30, 28? Yeah, somewhere between 25 and 30 years old.
Getting up to 30.
Yeah. What? Any other questions? So our the tortoise is a land animal and is a reptile. The snake is a reptile, so that's one family classification. Then we have the bunny rabbit, or the Rex rabbit, and that is a mammal. That's part of the mammal family. And then we have our parrot, blue-fronted Amazon parrot, and that is part of just the bird family. Any questions on those classifications?
So like, what will happen like when we let the rabbit go? Like, does it go run away?
It would run away, and if it got outside, it would have no idea how to find food. It would have no idea how to hide. It's never had to really hide. So it would be prey to a dog. You know, if there were a dog in the neighborhood, it would be very easy prey for that. So the snake would actually probably do okay. It is even though it is a rainforest animal, it would still know how to hunt for its food. So if it were to get out, it would be okay. Although it may have a hard time eating, because it usually gets frozen mice. So we feed our animals dead mice. And so to actually have to catch one alive, it would struggle with that. But it could survive until winter. And then once the snow would, it started getting cold, it wouldn't know what to do either. So. No. The snakes that are native to this area know how to hide for the winter. They know that a lot of them will burrow into the ground and dig into the ground. The difference is that is a tree snake, so it lives up in the trees, where the snakes we have around here usually live on the ground. So they're more of a burrowing snake. They'll find a hole to live in and stay underground. All right. Any other questions? Well, thank you for inviting us out here today and allowing us to share some of our zoo animals with you. You guys have been wonderful, and we hope that you invite us back again sometime, and we bring some different animals, and we enjoy coming out to your school. So thank you all very much for
Thank
for
you.
bringing us here.
Thank you.
Let's see. He's throwing. This is the fit he throws, or she. Step up. Step up. Art, step up. Good.
Yay, boy, yay.
Step up. There you go.
Good.
That was one of her little fits. All right. There you go. You get a seat because you went back in. That's it.
Good art.
All right.
Thank you. Okay, everybody.